Very happy with the Test match. We couldn't have asked for more. We've got a group of young men who, new captain, new vice captain, new leaders, all of whom I think have had a great week. They've led the team well, and some new players coming in, and for large parts of the game, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imaginations, but what we did get out of that was having to learn to keep our composure, keep our cool under pressure, and to see them come through and finish the game off as well as we did was really pleasing. So really happy. I thought it was a really good Test match. I thought both teams contributed to it. I thought George North was outstanding. I got asked after the game, if there's two things you'd like to improve on, what would they be? And the first one was tackle George North. It's unfortunate. It looks like he's pulled his hamstring, so we may not have to worry about it next week.
Yeah, I think it was different. I think just the whole build-up as well over the last couple of weeks. But in saying that, once we were out in the field, it was an awesome feeling. I think the whole group of leaders learnt a lot today. We'll grow from this performance, but yeah, it was a great feeling. I think the boys, showed some belief and showed that connection that we needed. As a tight spot out there, and what a Test match really is about, and be some good lessons taken from that.
It's a matter of staying calm and working through the things that we weren't doing that well, and getting a little bit more urgent to the breakdown, and being more accurate with some of the things we were doing, and not getting rattled. Just keep the self-belief and listen to the leaders and, tidy up parts of our game that weren't great. So wasn't a rah-de-rah sort of a speech. It was more quiet and calm, and it was about how much did we really want to win it. Would it come down to that, and they showed a lot of spirit and heart to do that.
Steve, you must be really happy with how Wasaki sort of recovered from a really average start to be one of the players of the game.
Yeah, spot on. Look, we talked out on the field, and he said, I won't say what he said because you can't write it, so about his first half, and I made the comment to him, son, the pleasing thing is that you came through the other side of that. And that takes a lot of effort, mental effort particularly. Like, we know he's really talented, and he hurt them even in the first half. I think, he scored a lovely try, and when you try too hard, sometimes you make some mistakes, and I think he's been desperate to show us all just how good he is as a player, and the more time he spends in the jersey, I think the more we'll see a real quality player.
Do you think coming back like that could be the making of him, so to speak?
Well, he'll certainly understand that you can come back. Like, I think that's the big thing. We all make mistakes, and how you deal with those mistakes is the key. Like, if you get stuck, then you keep making them. So he came through it, as did others. He wasn't the only one that made them. As a team, at times we made quite a few. So again, that's okay as long as we learn, as long as we stay calm in the heat of the battle, and the new skipper's got to take a lot of credit for that, because he's out there with him and his other leaders making sure that people are okay.
Probably that tempo is what we want to play with from the start. I guess it's very hard to do that, when the team's fresh and getting off the line really well, and we're probably a bit inaccurate early. So we couldn't do that, but I think we're an 80-minute team, and I think, as alluded, the bench is able to come on and lift our team, and that's what we expect of them. So it'll be it's a tempo that we can play with. It's obviously tests your bodies and tests your skills, but we can get better. But it's certainly it's heading in the right direction.
You don't win Test matches without quality performances, and whilst this one was a little rusty, all our first Test matches of the year are always rusty. Whether we want to accept that, I'm not sure, but that seems to be a fact. So we have to accept it as a reality. But when you judge a team the most, I think, is when they're under pressure. So we went in at half-time behind, young team. How were we going to react to it? And I think the response we got was first rate, and they, I think, put a line in the sand. Yes, we'll go forward from here. We'll be better from this performance, no doubt about it. But you have to start somewhere, and this group has started, and they're going about re-establishing themselves.
How important was your bench in that response?
Oh, massive! But look, that's nothing new. You know, like when we have won games in the past, we've said we've got a 23-man squad, and you know, on game day, and there's a lot of credit's got to go to the other guys that didn't even get stripped, like, because they help you prepare. But on game day, we've got 23 guys who we want to ask the opposition, do you have 23? And you can play at a speed of game and that can challenge the opposition. And we made subs early today because we felt that was the right thing to do, and each and every one of those subs made a difference. And that's what you want them to.
You know, we didn't probably deal with what they brought at the breakdown well enough in that first half, and it probably came about by, you know, they held up our tacklers, slowed our ball down, and then we didn't get in the right position. I guess was the main thing. It's a different level, Phil, mate. So we'll learn from that. It's it's a boys who perhaps, as we say, a bit rusty and what we expect. We'll need, you know, playing Test match footy, but we'll be better for next week.
Steve, you'll expect to get better next week. Do you think Wales will be able to raise their game as well?
Well, they're in a different situation to us. You know, like it's our first game of the year, and since the World Cup, how many would they have played since then? Six. And they've played a lot of club rugby. You know, they haven't had a breather, and you know, it's a great advertisement, I think, for having a global season. If we can do that, then you know we can look after our players. And there's a lot of sore boys because of that continuous week in, week out rugby, and they haven't had a breather. Like we've been lucky enough to have every year after the World Cup is good for us because we get a decent pre-season. We get about 14 weeks. So we always seem to have our guys playing Super Rugby really well because of that. And I should imagine Wales will be looking forward to a pre-season by the end of the season. You know, so will they expect to get better next week? Yeah, of course they will, because they'll come out here and they'll want to win the Test match. But we'll both want to get better.
Steve, do you walk away tonight with more ticks in the plus column than in the negatives column?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, it's our first game since winning the World Cup, and we've had massive changes. We've had 1 week, or 2 weeks, sorry, to prepare for the Test match. There's a lot of things you have to do in those 2 weeks, and it involves, learning a lot for the players, dumping a lot. You know, they're all coming from 5 different franchises, so there's some people out there who have answered some really good questions, and the biggest question we've answered is that we can still, in the tight moment, still keep our composure, and that's down to our leaders, and Rito should be proud of that because he's driving that.
Steve, can you just speak to the forward pass? You look like you wanted to add something to when Darren was saying.
Oh, he got that one, didn't he? That's all we'll say about that.